You could check his YouTube channel out, The J. Roos Theory. That's Jroos Theory. Ladies and gentlemen, on the line, my dude J. Roos. What up, man?
Hey, what's up, man? Big supporter of the platform. I appreciate it, Dusty. Classy guy. I check out you and Alonzo for years, man. That's must-see TV.
Appreciate you very much, man. But, tonight it's all about you, man. I definitely want to get to know you. And once again, I'm going to encourage everybody out there to go to his YouTube channel, The J. Roos Theory. That's Jroos, 2 words, Jroos, especially if you are into boxing, which we'll be talking a lot about tonight. But before we even do that, let's take it all the way back, man. Tell everybody where you grew up.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I grew up in Southeast San Diego back in the, would you believe it? I was born in 72, but,
You look good for your age, homie. I thought you were in your 30s. I can't even lie, man.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, class of 90. And I really only remember, from the 80s and 90s, maybe the late 70s a little bit, but yeah, the 80s and 90s that was a special time, man.
Nice. It was 72. Okay, so you're 52 years old, if my math serves me correct.
Yeah, I'll be 50. Yeah, I'll be 52 in June.
All right, so man, all right, let's take it back then. What was a young J. Roos like? What was your upbringing like back then?
Oh man, before boxing, I was mainly Southeast San Diego was really like a big football community back then. We played street football, till the lights came on, the street lights. We'd be just out there. That's all we cared about was all my buddies were Dallas Cowboy fans. I was a Charger guy, and they've been disappointing me since the 80s. But I lived literally 20 steps from Lincoln High across the street, so they would have the big gang football games over there, like Skyline and Lincoln Park and Emerald Hills. They would all play football over there. So it was just a big football city, ice cream trucks and all that, after practice. And that's my main memory of Southeast was just a lot of football, man.
Nice. All right. So 72, there were a lot of changes just throughout the country from the 70s to the early 80s. Just knowing Southeast San Diego, it's a little bit on the rougher side when it comes to the county of San Diego. Is that safe to say?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Before we jump into that, what are some of the cities, towns, areas in Southeast San Diego for someone who isn't familiar?
Well, I lived in Chula Vista for a long time.
That's where my wife was born and raised, man. That's funny.
Oh, wow. Are you serious?
Yeah, she lived off of Palm. I think it's the Palm exit right there by the park.
Yeah,
and there's a McDonald's right there. I think there's a little Caesars. There's a gas station.
Wow.
Yeah, Walmart down the street.
Oh, man, I never knew that. Yeah, I grew up I lived in Telegraph Canyon, if you know where that is.
I bet my wife does. I'll ask her after the show.
Yeah. Yeah, Telegraph Canyon. I lived in, I think it was called Maple Street before that, but lived Mission Valley right across the street from where the Chargers used to play, Qualcomm, but most of my time was in Southeast San Diego, and, La Jolla's the rich part where, I think the famous actress is from there, Raquel Welch, and okay. I think even what's the blonde? There's a blonde actress from there. I can't think of her name, but there's a couple actresses from La Jolla. But in Southeast, you mainly got, you have the Lincoln Park area. You got Emerald Hills, Skyline, what they call the Coast. It's just, each little division is almost like its own separate little planet in a way. It's like you can go to the rich side and you go to and none of none of the neighborhoods in Southern California really look bad. The grass is cut, it looks neat, but it can be crazy when the lights go out.
No, trip out on this. I first heard of Southeast San Diego as a kid. I used to love to read. And especially in the early 90s, there was seemed to be a lot of gang books. And there was a book that took place in Southeast San Diego. And to this day, I probably read it 10 times already. I did book reports on it and everything. But it was called Baby Insane and the Buddha. Do you remember that book, or do you have any recollection of that book?
Wow. No, I never. Yeah, I've never. No,
Okay, when you get a
no.
chance, if you're a reader like I am, it might even be on
Yeah.
audio. But it's about a cop in
Uh-huh.
a San Diego Crip, and they broke down everything in San Diego. And I was just reading. I remember reading that back in like maybe 92, 93. Like, damn, it goes down like that in San Diego. I had no idea. Obviously being up here in
Wow.
LA and being very young at that time. But
Yeah.
I was just curious if you got a chance to read that book. But check it out. It's a good book. It's called
No.
Baby Insane and the Buddha. But yeah, man, yeah, keep
Oh
going. All
wow.
right. So southeast. So
Wow.
we got all the neighborhoods
Yeah.
there. So what's the good and the bad and the ugly about growing up in southeast San Diego?
The thing is, like, you don't realize like how kind of dangerous it is until you grow up and you look back. You're like, man, that was kind of, they call the area the Four Corners of Death over there. I didn't even know that till I was like later on in life. Where all the taco shops are. Each corner is like a DJ liquor. Then there's a taco shop. There used to be Huffman's Barbecue, and there's a Catholic church on the corner. But they call that the Four Corners of Death. But like you don't. It doesn't feel dangerous. It feels like there's something always going on, but it doesn't necessarily feel like your life's in jeopardy. But although I will say my high school, Lincoln High, I always say it was like Def Comedy Jam meets Boys in the Hood. It was like funny, but it felt kind of dangerous at the same time. But yeah, it was just, you had your drive-bys, but that didn't start happening until like around 92, around then. I mean, well, the late '80s. I can't forget the late '80s. Yeah, it started in the late '80s. Yeah, the late '80s. But I guess I remember '92 because I lost two people I knew by drive-bys in '92, kind of close together. So I guess that's why that year stands out for me. But yeah, it definitely started in the late '80s, and
Yeah,
it was a crazy time.
Yeah, it was definitely a crazy time back then. Down here, I mean, up there. Wait, hold on, I'm all turned around. I'm in LA. You're in San Diego. Down there, up here, it was definitely a crazy time, man. It was really, really, just even for civilians, just it was a war zone at times. And like you said, looking back now, you're like, damn, I went through some shit. Like just even
Yeah,
civilian, dude.
Yeah, you can end up in a bad situation. Like, did you ever hear the Sagon Penn situation that happened in the late '80s in San Diego? It took the whole city by storm.
Break it down.
Did you ever hear?
Sounds familiar. Then break it down.
Yeah, I know his sister. We went to Lincoln High together, but Sagon Penn, they have some of his story on YouTube. He was just minding his business. He was like a martial artist, taekwondo. He was just walking home one day, and the police decided to harass him like in front of a church, and they started, I guess, beating him and stuff. And they're all kind of witnesses out there. And this dude was a martial artist, so he handled his business, and they ended up out of here. And he had a court case and got off, which is rare. Usually if you take out some cops, whether you're right or wrong, you usually you usually don't get off. But he got off because I guess there were so many witnesses out there that knew he didn't, he wasn't at fault. They were messing with him. He was just minding his business, but they messed with the wrong guy. The dude knew how to handle his fists, and it's too bad it ended with anybody having to lose their life. You hate to hear that, but police were almost as more dangerous than the gangs back then. You couldn't trust them.
Yeah, that's facts. I'm looking at the story right now. Sagon Penn. Let's see.
Yeah.
He was a martial artist expert and community leader from Southeast San Diego who worked as a karate teacher and also mentored inner city children in the early 80s. Penn was subsequently acquitted for the 1985 controversial shooting death of a San Diego police officer. Let's see. Multiple altercations. So, all right. I just want to read it off real quick because I'm very interested.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
In 1985, Penn's vehicle was pulled over in the Encanto area during a traffic stop by San Diego police officers Thomas Riggs and Donovan Jacobs. Civilian police ride along Sarah Penn was in the squad car when a physical altercation ensued, resulting in Penn shooting and killing Riggs with his own service revolver. Oh, yeah, he took that shit on some Bruce Lee shit from him. Shooting and injuring him. Penn also shot and wounded Jacobs and ran him over with the police squad car while fleeing the scene. Later that day, Penn voluntarily surrendered himself to police. Interesting. Yeah, went to trial and Apparently he took his own life in 2002.
Yeah, there's some the family kind of is a little suspect of that because
I'm suspect of that, and I don't even know the whole story.
Yeah, like that Rodney King thing. Years later, he mysteriously drowns or something. Like, I don't know about all that because in fact, my cousin took Taekwondo under the same guy that Sagon Penn took Taekwondo. His name was they called him Master Wilson. They took the same martial arts class, and he was a disciplined guy. So I don't know that story seems kind of fishy that he would do something like that. These things seem.
I'm gonna go down that rabbit hole. I might even do a show on that. Don't be surprised if you see that pop up on my feed. Real talk. That's thanks for throwing that one out there.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. Yeah, that story took over. That was like as big as OJ was in almost in San Diego.
Yeah, and this was '85. Damn.